Hey guys, welcome back to the CO Studios. It's Gabby. Today I'm here with Jayla Domske and my mom, Erica Gardner, who is the Campus Life Director and After School Director as well.
Hi.
Hi!
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the podcast. This is our awesome studio.
Yeah, it
Looks
is
so
awesome.
nice.
Yeah. So I have Jayla here today, and Jayla's been a student with us at the Armory for probably 4+ years. Yeah.
4 or 5.
So we want our audience to be able to get to know you a little bit. So just for fun, if you were any type of zoo animal, what animal would you be, and how is that animal like you?
Well, I would usually say raccoons because that's my favorite animal, but I'm shifting more towards zoo animals, so probably a red panda. Only because they're pretty similar, and I just like relaxing, and sometimes being like a playful type person, but usually relaxing is a way to go.
Okay.
Relaxing or playful. Other than that, I'm not too work ethic.
Well, I see both of those things in you because you are very chill and you are a lot of fun. So the red panda makes sense to me too. So Jayla, could you tell us a little bit about your life growing up?
Well, I grew up kind of usually with my mother's mom, which was my grandma, and I lived probably with her till around the age of 7 or 8, and then I moved back in with my mom, and me and my mother didn't have the closest relationship, which is why I lived with my grandma for a bit, and my dad was kind of in and out the picture, so he wasn't trustworthy as a home, but I did have several grandparents to go to, plus there's a point where my mom got really much better. Mm-hmm. And I lived with her probably till the age of 10, 11, and then I got kicked out to live with my grandma by my stepdad. And now I've been living with her for 4 or 5 years.
Okay, so a little bit of moving around.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I was definitely moving around a lot.
It sounds like you had lots of people to love you.
Yeah.
And fill in those spaces when you needed. But tell us a little bit about your faith growing up. Did you have one? Did you not have one?
Well, I want to say yes, but it was more but no. My grandma Cindy, who I lived with, she wasn't too religious. She didn't force anything upon me, but there was Christianity brought up, so that's what I grew up in. But I was baptized as a Presbyterian, so I think that's really what my grandma I'm living with now, Grandma Jamie, is. Because we would go to church, I would go to her weekend. I would go with her on the weekends, every other week, and then I'd go to church with her on Sundays. So it was, I saw it, but I didn't really lean towards it. It wasn't pushed on me. It was hey, we go to this. You don't have to go if you don't want to, but I usually just went.
Okay, cool. So what brought you to campus life? How did you learn about campus life? How old were you maybe when you started coming?
I think 4. So probably when I was 10 or 11. I think 11 because
How old are you now?
15. Mm-hmm. So it's been 4 or 5
6th grade?
years. Yeah, 6th grade.
Okay.
Yeshaya, my friend Yeshaya, she heard it. I have no idea who she heard it from, but she was like, "Hey, there's this Armory place. There's this spotlight night." I think actually Aiden told us. I don't know if you remember Aiden, but he comes to the Armory little now. But he told us about spotlight night, and I think that was the first thing I went to.
Okay.
I feel that's an event that a lot of people come to.
That's the starting.
Yeah, because it's a big thing. It's not just it's campus life, but it's more of a fun thing that people weren't used to. So they're whoa, what's that? And then kind of draws them in.
Yeah, I love Spotlight Night.
Yeah.
That was fun. What year did you go? Was it the year that you dressed up as a gorilla?
Oh.
Do you remember
I
that?
remember you doing that, so it might have just been...
Rocco was petrified sitting next to me when is this going to be over? I mean, it is pitch black, hence the spotlight, because you wouldn't see it if it wasn't so dark. But yeah, that is a fun event.
It might have been that one.
I forget what other ones we've done.
I know we did Stranger Things this year.
Yeah, we did do that.
Last year, all I remember last year was there was a Trump and a Biden. I remember that exactly. I don't remember who was it, but I just remember that.
Yeah.
I can't remember who dressed up as them either, but yeah, it was obviously a voting year, so that was kind of on everyone's mind. But Yeah, so you came to Campus Life, and you've been here for a few years. Our relationship, we didn't get connected straight away.
Yeah,
and
no.
sometimes it's like that in a big group. I guess we really weren't in the small group together, but more recently,
I think since when me, you, Zoe, and Reagan all went to hang out that one day last summer, I think that's where like we peaked. Like that was like
yeah,
how we all got together.
that was a funny day.
Yeah.
So we brought Jayla back to the house, and I think I was changing or doing something
Yeah.
real quick. We were going to go have a fun time, and our dog, Bo, attacked Jayla. She had
with
a
licks, with licks.
Yeah,
With licks.
with
Not
licks.
no bites, just
He
kisses
was
and
loving
love
her, but I went upstairs and I came down. Your hair was in a ponytail, and I came down. It was just like
everywhere.
And I was like, "What happened?" Bo had
Typical
just
Bo.
yeah, just totally loved on her. But and then we had the summer escape trip after that, which also came with some fun memories. But before we get to maybe some of that fun stuff, you shared a little bit about your family, and so would you be willing to talk about the struggle and how getting involved with Campus Life has maybe helped you overcome?
I think the biggest struggle was watching, and my mother, like, there was not multiple, I'm saying that like there's a lot. There's like 2 men that were like in like our household, and they were just like, maybe, I don't know, like, she never connected with them always. Like, there's times where she did, but there's times where we didn't. So there was constantly fighting. And as someone who wanted to defend their mom, I would stick up, and then somebody would shut me down, and then I'd start going around. It was just a lot of arguments going around in the house. And Campus Life was something to do for me to, like, kind of run away from it, because I would just walk around Canonsburg with my friends when I was younger, because that's all I could really do, escape.
Right.
But having that Campus Life, being there somewhere, because I knew it was safe, because walking around Canonsburg is not always the safest, but knowing the Army was there, and it was a safe environment with people like you, JR, and Paul and Lori, who I think I connected them first, like, before anything. They were super sweet. And it was sad to see them go to Ohio.
That was sad.
But I just came, like, to Campus Life to get away from that. And now, I mean, there's still arguments, but now I know how to maintain my anger, and I know how to act more mature. So I'm able to, I have overcome the struggle and the anger towards people after, because I had strong grudges I would hold. But now it's more of like, hey, it happened, let's try to build, but there's still going to be a boundary set now.
I love that. Yeah. And that
Boundaries
is
are
another.
good.
Yeah, go ahead, Gabrielle.
I just said boundaries are good.
Boundaries are good. Yeah. I think one of the other things that we are so privileged in working with youth to watch is this growth and maturity. Obviously physical, because we watch you guys grow up, but often emotional and spiritual as well. And I have watched you overcome some of these difficult things, being in chaotic situations, coming here as a little bit of a release, and,
definitely.
And seeing you grow in your faith, because you always have this joy about you that I think is very complimentary, because life can hand you some hard stuff.
And like we talked about on Thursday, how God will give us stuff that will hurt us, but we have to be the light no matter what. Even if we are broken, He will still, like, shine that light on us for us to share with other people.
That's right.
And I think sharing, like, happiness is probably, like, the best thing you can do. Like, that's the best gift you can receive, is someone complimenting you or just asking you how your day was.
Yeah, I agree. And you do that so well. And it does remind me, I said we might get back to our time at camp when we really bonded over a couple funny things. So one of them was surviving a terrible thunderstorm in the middle of the woods of West Virginia.
Miserable.
I mean,
There
it was
was bugs
scary.
flying, water flying.
Like, there was water coming in.
Yeah. Were you on the top bunk?
No,
she was with me.
I was on the bottom bunk with Erica, but there's still water hitting.
I was on the top bunk and I was getting drenched. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't bring a sleeping bag or anything. So I was just like getting wet.
Well, one of the things I remember about that situation, because it was scary and I was feeling like very unsettled, and Jayla woke up and said, "Miss Erica, are you okay?" Like, she was checking on me, and I just thought That's just such a tender thing about you, to think of others before yourself, and that's just like an example of how that worked out. Like your first thought was towards, was I okay? And I so appreciate that. But another funny thing about that trip, all we wanted was a picture, right, Jayla? And the painted bus, and little do we know that leaving the bus would disrupt a whole hornet's nest.
A whole hornet's nest.
Yeah. So worse than Bo tackling you in our living room was you being chased
by a bunch of bees.
Yeah.
Wait,
hornets.
did you get stung? Were you one of the
Like,
ones that
I got
stung?
a bee went in my mouth. A bee went in my mouth and stung me. It was, and I think that's what freaked. Like, I was like sobbing. Like, you can ask Erica. I was sobbing. Like, I was hysterical. But I think it was more of a bee just went in my mouth more than a bunch of, like, I got stung like all over. But
It was probably 7 or 8.
more. I'm pretty sure.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it was.
gosh.
But 2 on your
I remember
tongue.
that.
Yeah, I had 2 on my tongue.
Did
It
your
was
tongue
bad.
swell up?
A little bit, but not as much as I thought it would.
We had Nurse Jacob with
Yeah,
us.
Nurse Jacob.
Nurse Jacob to the rescue. But that was another time where Jayla has all these stings all over herself, plus 2 on her tongue, which is just bizarre because I've never seen that happen. And you asked about the student from Peters. You said, "Is he okay?"
Yeah.
She knew somebody else got stung. So
Yeah,
just
a
another
couple people
example.
got stung.
That's what I thought. That's what
Yeah,
I was
like, so I think more was just like 1 or 2 stings because they went on and back, and I think as soon as I went out front, Miss Erica was like, "Don't go out in the front," and then I just heard zzz, I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
It was like, that was a horrible thing because there was like nothing I could do. Like,
Yeah.
I knew what was happening, but I couldn't like.
Go over because
Yeah,
then you'd get attacked.
Well, I wouldn't mind if they switched, but I didn't know that would happen.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I didn't know you got stung on your tongue.
yeah.
What?
It was. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, how in the world did this happen? I think it's because I was yelling, and like the bee was like, "Okay, I'm gonna make you shut up."
They saw you as a threat, so they were like, "She's raising her voice, so we need to do something about it." So they come and attack you.
Yeah.
But there's a bad situation that, again, Jayla turned into a
Yeah.
good thing, right? Because we had lots of laughs after that,
Oh,
after
yeah,
the
that was-
fact, and it became a fun memory. And just to see how you react in those situations, how your care goes towards other people, and I know you extend that to your family. You have younger siblings that I
Yeah.
know you look out for and take care of, and
Definitely.
yeah, I think that God is going to use you in great ways as you continue to grow deeper in your faith. So, yeah. So, where are you at in your faith journey now?
Now I think obviously I go to the armory and I do listen. I like sometimes like people will be talking to me and then I'll be like so focused on JR, like talking about his like just everything he speaks about. It really touches me in a way. And once in a while I'll go to church, not all the time. We do see my cousin's Adam. He at the one in Central.
Assembly.
Yeah, he is I think he's a preacher now or a pastor, one of the two.
Okay.
He does a lot of, like, he does stand up, and I see JR in a way too. Like, just having somebody talk to me about God, like, right in front of me is so much better than, like listening on YouTube or even sometimes reading the Bible. Because I feel like I read the Bible, but I feel like hearing it from somebody I look up to is much more. Because I understand the Bible was wrote for us to look up to, but sometimes you don't, like, sometimes I don't have that faith to believe these words are written for me. But having someone look at me directly and say, "These are for you, God loves you," is more touching than anything.
Yeah, that's cool. And I can agree with that.
I think it's also cool, like, having, like, JR be one to speak. Like, he's able to
Yeah.
relate to us in a way. Obviously, like, you can read the Bible and it's a little bit hard to understand
Yeah.
sometimes. So whenever you have someone there to, like, kind of break it down for you,
Interpret.
it's definitely super beneficial and could help you grow in your faith as well. So
Yeah.
I think other people are definitely important in your faith journey.
Yeah, there's like just seeing positive people like Owen too. Owen and Zach both talk so well, especially on the senior night. How they just talked about so highly of each other. So it shows how like not low their ego, but like how humble they are.
Yeah.
They're both very humble as people, and I really look up to them, especially.
That was so cute last night. They were so sweet.
Yeah, they were so
They
sweet.
were just
to
doing
each
like
other.
some little comments back and forth. I was like,
Well, I think that says a
Little
lot too
bromance.
about what campus life becomes. It
It brings
starts out.
everybody together.
It does. It starts out as community and takes us out of our chaos and gives us
Family.
a little community, and then
That's what I always
eventually,
say.
yeah, it starts to feel more like family,
Yeah.
and it certainly has with you over these years.
I know, it's definitely like during lockdown when we didn't have the armory for like a couple months, almost like half a year. It was hard. It was very different. It was like I don't have my Tuesdays or Wednesdays to go to or whenever. Like
Right.
those, it was so abnormal just not seeing
Mhm.
like my friends and especially JR and Erica.
No, that was an abnormal time.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're past that because
Thank
it's so much
goodness.
better to be together, right? Yeah. Well, you certainly bring the joy and keep doing that for all the people around you because there are a lot of people out there, like JR was talking about last night. I mean, we're all broken in some way.
Yeah.
And if we can use our brokenness to make a difference in the lives of other people by showing them how we overcome that, how we overcome struggles through our faith and allowing God to just, take care of the rest. So it says He is peace, hope, and joy. And I see all of those things in you. When life was chaotic, you sought the peaceful. And when life was sad, you filled it with joy. And I know that you have a bright hope for your future.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really like, because I see people that are struggling like how I was struggling, and I hate so much how they take, instead of going to God, they go to other things like lust, drugs, and all that. It hurts. I'm like you have a relationship that He is begging for you. He's begging for you to be with Him, but you're choosing these other things just because you can see them, but you can't see Him. And I think the first armory trip I went on, Winter Splash, is where I felt really touched.
I remember that.
I felt really like, just even with the drama going around that trip, I still I focused more on listening and trying to understand God. And then I think it wasn't during the trip, but it was right after the trip, the night after the trip, when I went to sleep, I just felt all that faith come in, and I felt like this is my purpose.
Right. And sometimes it is that conscious effort, right? Just to want to know more and to lay all the other stuff aside. And yeah, I can appreciate what you're saying. If they can't see them, it does make it hard. But
when there's times where people just are down, and sometimes you lose faith, and it's really hard to get it back up. But you just have to believe, and could take. A lot of people expect Him to come right like that, but it takes sometimes days and sometimes weeks even.
that's a very valid point. Yeah, a lot of patience. God's timing is not always our timing. We are a world of immediate gratification. We want everything when we want it, and good things take time, and God has that all orchestrated. Yeah.
All right, one last thing before we wrap it up. Do you have any advice you'd like to share? One piece of advice you want to share?
Honestly, I like to be cliche and say stay positive, because that's all you can really do. Sometimes things are thrown at you and you just got to keep pushing through, or stay positive and social. I think positivity and sociability makes life so much easier, because you're open to new opportunities, and maybe you can find something you like through someone else.
I like it.
Good advice. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Thanks for
you.
having
It
us.
was good hearing your story. Guys, make sure you like and comment, subscribe, and make sure to tune in for the rest of our videos. See you guys next time.
Bye.